Hello, everyone, on all sides. My name is Christina Bidwell. I'm the Associate Dean of Aboriginal Affairs in the College of Arts and Science, and it is my pleasure and honor to welcome you today to the opening and naming of the Trish Monture Center for Student Success. Patricia Monture, or Trish, as she was called by those who knew her, was a faculty member here in the College of Arts and Science from 1994 until her death in 2010. First in the Department of Native Studies and then in sociology. A proud Mohawk woman from Six Nations, she made a home for herself and her 4 children here in Treaty 6 territory. As a scholar, she was a leader in the field of Aboriginal people and the law, publishing 2 books and many articles in the area. She was also a leader here at the University of Saskatchewan, encouraging the university to create programs, services, and spaces for Aboriginal students. She was also a mentor to many Aboriginal students, and you'll hear from a couple of her former students today. Reflecting back on her own experiences as a university student, Trish wrote, "I never experienced the classroom as a safe space." And perhaps because of this experience, she was especially an advocate for the creation of spaces for Aboriginal students. And so it's fitting that the Trish Monture Center for Student Success is named in her honor. I'd like to tell you a bit about this center in which you're all sitting. It usually looks quite different than it does today. There are computer stations along the wall, there's tables for studying, there's comfortable chairs for students, and there's always a lot of students hanging out, studying sometimes. Also on either side, there are offices for academic advising and academic coaching, providing intensive and culturally aware support for Aboriginal students and other students transitioning to their first year of university. The College of Arts and Science created this space as part of our commitment to offering Aboriginal students and students in transition the best possible experience at university. I believe that Trish would have been happy to see this center, which represents much of what she worked for here at U of S. So today, as we officially open this center and name it in honor of Trish Monture, we'll be hearing from some of Trish's friends, family, students, and colleagues. And we'll then have some food from the fabulous Métis chef, Jenny Willems, and a chance to visit, because I know lots of friends here. I'd like to thank Rodolfo Pino Robles, a friend of Trish's, who welcomed us here today with beautiful music. Rodolfo's around here somewhere. Thank you, Rodolfo. And I'd also like to thank some of those who made today happen. And there have been so many people that it is hard to name everybody. So apologies if I miss anybody. But Bev Jacobs, Maggie King, Michael, Justin, and Jack, thank you. Sakage Henderson, Les Samuelson, Rachel Fiddler, Gordon Debrizet, Brian Catcher and Natalie Walliser, the staff here of the Trish Monture Center, all the speakers today, the elders, Walter and Maria Linklater, thank you so much for being here, and of course the College of Arts and Science for all the support of creating this space. So now I'd like to invite our elders, Walter and Maria, to come forward and lead us in a prayer and a blessing of the food, which we will have afterwards. Thank you.
Good morning. In our spiritual beliefs, a person, of course, comes from our Creator through the creation that He created, and then on earth through the mother, then goes through a life called a medicine wheel of life. And when a person is completed her or his and her life on earth, the body is returned usually to Mother Earth, and the spirit goes back to the Creator. That's basically our belief system, and each nation has their own way to honor those that are in the spirit world. So we know Trish is in the spirit world. Trish was also a member of our family as well through marriage. So we're going to pray not for her, because she's a lot happier than we are on earth. And we'll pray to her. And they tell me her Mohawk name is Ayewahande, something like that. Ayewahande. That was her Mohawk name. And the old people, the elders, tell us when we pray, we should tell the Creator who we are in our languages. That's what I'll be doing. My English name, of course, is Walter Linklater, legal name. But when I pray, I become a spirit. The name that was given to me was Bapinwewe Gijik, which means, I guess, the sun that sits directly on the horizon when the sun rises in the morning. So I'll be praying as Bapinwewe Gijik. So we ask you to pray with me and think of Trish in your own way. Also her daughter, Kate, is with her as well, and all her loved ones in the spirit world, as well as your loved ones too. That was the day to honor Trish and Kate, and also to honor your relatives as well. By honoring her, we do that. So let us take a few moments to pray, each in our own way, to our Creator, and ask our Creator to bless and heal us as we try to complete our life in the way that Trish did, in a good way. And also we pray for healing, especially for the family left behind, and all of us who are left behind with many beautiful memories of Trish. Vajogizamanito, Vajogizamanito, Papenwewe Gijak Nindago, Chimigwich, Kiminago, Mantomino Gijagat, Chimigwich, Kiminago, Kenegego, the Bot Stonama, Kenegego Gijay, Kiminagonamake, Chimigwich, meaning in a Mawa Kaigan, Nematabin, which in Nan Totem Tekiatama, Kiche, Navigigi to Akuma, a Name Yakuma, and to wait the Menki Guay, Kiminigon Ki Guay, Bizindamok, Manitok, Bizindamok. Ayewa Hande go dance, Ispemingiat, being again a man a matabin. We chinan totem to Kiabi Atamake. We chinan Ka Kina totem to Kiatama. Ya we check in any one who we day bargain. We ended Chamak set to Marke. Kiam, Namina go ox, you win. And gay kitchen in them. Maybe Jawa Kamanungum. No shows. O Creator, Mother Earth, grandfathers and grandmothers in the four directions, spirits of the universe, loved ones in the spirit world, especially Aweya Hande and her daughter, and all our relatives, family in the spirit world, please listen to us today. Grant us peace, serenity, so that we may complete our lives in a good way. We thank you for life and light and water and food which we're about to share, friendship and fellowship. We thank you for the honor of coming here to honor our Ayewa Hande and her daughter. We ask them to join us in spirit, continue to bless and keep her family and loved ones that are left behind to mourn. And we thank her for all the good things that she did in her life. Again, we ask you, Creator, send in good spirits to guide us, to teach us how to live in peace with one another, to have peace in the world, peace in our own hearts, so that we will always try to live a good life at all times, with all people, in all places. Ha miigwech kizamanito, ha miigwech kizamanito. Hoi hoi.
I'd now like to invite Blaine Favel to come forward. Blaine is the 14th Chancellor of the University of Saskatchewan, as well as the Executive Chairman of One Earth Oil and Gas. He's a graduate of the University of Saskatchewan. Chancellor Favel went on to study law at Queen's University, where he studied alongside Trish Monture.
Morning, everybody. Morning. We're here for Trish. I was honored today to meet Trish's children and carry her grandson. And he didn't like me, but I think he was maybe he heard of me because he started doing his business there as soon as I carried him. So I gave him back. I gave him back to his mom. So no, it's a real special day for the family and for friends of Trish. And so I want to thank Marie and Walter for their opening prayer, their blessing, and Alan for his opening prayer, his opening hymn song. And a lot of people have to be given thanks for this room, for the work that it's going to do, the good work. It's important to recognize Trish, which is what I'm here to do, but also to recognize that lots of good is going to come from this room, and lots of good is going to continue from the work that the many seeds that this lady sprinkled during her life and affected many, many lives, including my own. So that's what we're here to. We're here to celebrate that students that come through here have a better chance of success. That the College of Arts and Science and the whole university will. We won't lose students. They won't quit. They won't lose their heart because they'll have a safe place to come to, where they're loved and they're taken care of and they're supported. And so I want to thank Dean Stoichev for supporting this, and all of the people within this college, and for the work that Christina does. This decision came to the Board of Governors, which I sit on last year, and I asked to put. I said I wanted to make the motion because this lady was my friend too. So, but I knew her. I met her when I went to law school in Queen's University, and there's only 3 Indians there in that whole law school, and there's not too many Indians in Kingston that are outside of the bars, and there's a lot of our people that are inside the bars. And so Trish introduced me to that world as well. She used to take me to Prison for Women, and we go to Round Dance and support the work that they're doing. And she was a good woman. She was a real strong, good person. And so there was myself and Joyce Pelche there. Were the first-year law students, and Trish was in 3rd year. And she adopted us. She was happy that there was other Indians there in the law school. And I lived in a little 1-bedroom, not even a 1-bedroom, that's an exaggeration. I think I could fit my dorm, probably about 3 or 4 of my dorms into this room where I lived. There was room for a bed and a desk at Queen's. And she was really kind, and so she knew that I lived in a little place, but she didn't want me to quit. She didn't want me to go home. So when she'd leave town, like she traveled a fair bit, and she'd leave town, she'd lend me her apartment on weekends when she left, so I'd have a place, a couch and a TV to sprawl and, just hang out and, be comfortable and feel welcome. So she opened up her own house to me and her own friendship, and she was always my friend. We kind of stayed in touch. We weren't as close as many of the people in the room here are to her, but when I saw her, we were always happy to see each other because we had gone through something together. And I remember when she was a fierce academic, and she was a sovereignist, and she was all of these other chiefs were really scared of her, right? She wasn't shy to denounce a chief, eh? But I felt pretty lucky because I was never on that list, right? Because she was my big sister, so she was kind to me, and she always supported what I was trying to do. But so I think it's appropriate that this building is here, and this is why I wanted to make the motion. This is why it was important for me to be here, is that for my own personal story, if this woman hadn't helped me, maybe I'm not here. Maybe I'm not standing before you, and maybe I haven't been able to, take care of my kids and do the work that I did because of this woman helping me out. And that was a long time ago, before she became the Trish Monture that many of you know. So she always had a good heart. She was always very generous with her love and with her support. And that's what this. I hope this place does that for some students, because we don't know if they're going to come from Thunderchild or Papixis or James Bay, and they come here. I hope this place is a place that makes them not want to quit and gives them the strength to go on and to finish school and to get their degree. So I wanted to. That's why this place couldn't be more perfect. I think it captures what Trish would want. So that's what I'm here to say. One last word I wanted to say. I don't want to speak very long, but I wanted to, for her kids. I've never met her kids. I met them when they're young. And it's hard to lose a parent, and it's hard to lose somebody that you love. And so I don't want this to be a sad, like it's a bit of a heaviness, but also, it's important to acknowledge that she left loved ones here, and it's probably hard on them here this morning to sit here. But when my dad died, I was 18, and my cousin, Edmund Tutusa Sagiti, he took me to his sweat, and he told me that in our Cree ways, as Walter said, there's no death, eh? You carry on, your spirit carries on into the spirit world. But it's like he said, the way he told me is like a one-way mirror, he said. They still love you, they can still see you, they're still alive, and you can still make them proud. And that you should do that in your life with your work, he said, eh? Like always offer yourself, your work to your dad, and because he can be proud and he loves you where he is. So I would try to do that too. I would smudge before I wrote exams, and I'd pray, and I'd give this to him. I'd give this. So I guess what I'm trying to say is to her sons here, and to her friends, is that she's not gone. Her body is gone. It's gone back to Mother Earth, but her spirit is still here, and she's here with us in this room. I'm certain of that, and her love is here, and it'll continue to be with her. Just remember her good work, because she did much good work, and she was a pioneer in missing and murdered women. I remember Beverly telling me that years ago, and Trish told me that a long time ago. And the things that this woman worked on, they all came to be. So it was a life well lived, and it was a life that is worthy of celebration. And I'm proud to be here as part of this celebration, joining you today. So, na skump na pe mi chetiek, tatam Scott now. Hi.
Thank you very much. So now, two of Trish's former students will speak about their experiences with her as their teacher. I understand that she was a very powerful and influential teacher. So first I'm going to ask Lisa Abbott to come forward. Lisa studied under Trish and now runs her own law firm here in Saskatoon.
Okay. Thank you. I had to write stuff down. I didn't want to screw this up because she was such an important person to me. And I was going to be late, so I parked in a no parking spot as usual. Back in the old days, my car was constantly getting towed. So I was really nervous. I first wanted to start off with a quote, and this quote is by Maya Angelou. It says, "At the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or did, but they will remember how you made them feel." It's my great honor to be giving a student tribute to one of the women who influenced me so greatly. There are actually two women in my life who impacted me deeply. One is my mother, and the other was Trish Monture. Trish to her students, as was mentioned, and to her friends. That quote by that American poet expresses my experience as a student of Trish. I met Trish my first year of university, and that was quite a while ago. But then I took every single class that she offered. I even audited one in the middle of law school because I really needed to. She made us feel passionate about the issues, and so many times I left her class feeling angry. Her book, Thunder in My Soul, is probably the best way to describe that anger you feel when you first start hearing and opening your eyes to the history of oppression and colonization. She let us feel that anger. In her classes, we worked it out, we talked it out, and she made us understand that you can't stay angry forever. That anger will eat at your soul. She encouraged us to use our anger to search for solutions, to use that anger to drive our passion for change. And that is why you will see the former students of Trish Monture. You'll see them as the chief change makers in the community. You'll see them as the professionals who are committed to social justice and the strong advocates for a better future. She inspired me to pursue my goal as a lawyer. Trish was my role model. She was my mentor and my friend. She proved that you can be a strong Indigenous woman and a lawyer, that you can come out of these institutions still thinking like an Indian, and she encouraged us to own that word. You can acquire all the skills of your trade, but you can still be an Indigenous thinker. That was powerful for us as students, and that was empowering. And I think that for so many of us, it was so critically important that our worldview was validated and that was honored, and that's why I'm glad to see these wampum belts here. So on behalf of those students, we were thankful and we were grateful. I thought of Trish as a professional the day that I was called to the bar in Ontario. Many people don't know that Trish, when she was fresh out of law school, that she came out swinging. She fought the Law Society of Upper Canada. And before Trish, we used to have to swear allegiance to the Crown as new lawyers being called to the bar. But Trish took an action to court, and she promised she wouldn't even fight, she wouldn't even practice if she lost that good fight. And of course she won, as she usually does. And because of this, at my bar ceremony, there were 2 of us in a class of 300. We didn't have to swear allegiance to the Crown. We carried an eagle feather instead. And we committed to carrying on that good fight. This is one example of the legacy she left. But perhaps her most important legacy is felt in the hearts and minds of her former students. And that's why it was my great honor to be asked to give a student tribute to Trish Monture. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And now I'd like to ask another one of Trish's students, Candace Wasakase Lafferty, to come forward. Candace is the Director for First Nations and Métis Engagement here at the University of Saskatchewan.
I look around this room and I want to start by thanking our elders. You've given us such good guidance over the years, and it's so fitting that you were here today. I also remember back in the 90s, and I remember when I was a student here. Not as much, and I see what a big role you've played for us and how proud we should all be here to have you here today. So thank you, Walter and Maria. I don't get a chance to thank you very often, so I want to say thank you. When we were preparing for this day, and we were talking about who should speak, and we were talking about Professor Monture, and I only have a couple of really good memories that I wanted to share with you. In the term 2 of 1997, I was about 6 months pregnant, and I was struggling through university. I had come from Kmmf First Nation, and this seemed like a big place then. It seemed like even a huger place to me back in the 90s. I remember how scared I was, and we didn't have this space, but what we did have was Trish's office. And you could go and sit and you could talk with her. She was pregnant as well. And she made me feel okay about this. She taught me how to fight in a way, to use my words. In Native Studies 219 that spring, there was about 100, just under about 100 students in that class. And it was Native peoples in the justice system. And for such a big class, there was only maybe 20 Indians in the class. We all sat together and we all listened, we learned, and someone challenged her in front of all of us. So, a young man got up and he talked about, well, we could have just killed you all, just like, the Aztecs. We could have done this, we could have done that, and, you should be grateful. And all of us students were just uproared. We were so upset. There was 20 of us there, and we all banded together, and we looked to Trish to save us. And I thought, Trish, you are the toughest woman I've ever met in my life. She is going to just rip this guy apart. She didn't. She calmly talked to him, and she peeled back his argument, and she made him just a pile of jello in the room right in front of us all. I was absolutely astounded at the power that this woman has. And I said, I want to learn to fight like that. I want to learn to be logical. I want to learn to use my strength as an Indigenous woman. She's amazing. I look around this room, I actually see some students from back in those days, and I know we're all so much better off. I want to thank the family for sharing your mother with us, sharing your sister, sharing your auntie with us. We're all much better for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Candace. Now I'd like to ask Beverly Jacobs to come forward. Beverly has traveled from Vancouver to be here for this event today, where she works as a lawyer. She is also a Mohawk woman from Six Nations, and she was a close friend of Trish.
Good morning. Scano, Swakwego, Giaso, Kmmf, Kayangihaga, Nyagwait, Shoutda, Haudenosaunee. Greetings of peace, is what I said to all of you. And I also told you my Mohawk Bear Clan name, which is Kmmf, and it means she's visiting. So, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional territory here, Cree, Métis, Treaty 6, and as well the elders, Walter and Maria Linklater, for your prayers and also for always being there for Trish as well. And you've always been there for her family, and thank you for being here today and your prayers. And we had a traditional feast for her yesterday in her honor, and she needed to be fed, and that's part of our tradition. When someone passes on, and we feed our ancestors and honor them and honor their spirit and the work that they continue to do in that spirit world. So thank you, and Walter and Maria officiated that and made sure we did things right, and thank you for that. Nyawa in my language, Mohawk language. I brought the belts today. This is one of the teachings, of course, that Trish and I have both been raised with, to acknowledge our Indigenous knowledge, our traditional knowledge. That was a big message from her, is to honor who we are as Indigenous people, and to not be afraid to show it, not to be afraid to stand up, and to stand up to speak the truth, and to stand up to say what needs to be said. She taught me that. She taught me to have a voice, and to stand up and to speak the truth, and to say what needs to be said, no matter what if it pisses people off, because it's the truth. She said she spoke the truth, and sometimes she would make people mad, but that's their own response to the truth. And so I found it really amazing for her to have an impact on so many people around the world, not just here in the university, but around the world, and how many Indigenous women that she and men that she had an impact on. And to honor her today is really important. And thank you thank you, Blaine, for making sure that that was done for her, and I know that her legacy will continue here, and her legacy and her spirit will continue on in her teachings. I have, when we had her funeral, and we have a 10-day feast and a 10-day giveaway, and I was honored with her cape and gown from the university. So I didn't have time, but I'm going to get it encased, and we'll donate it to the university here. I have it packed away in my little, and wondering, what am I going to do with this? So now it's shown what to do with that. And Justin isn't back yet. Is he back? Okay. All right. If you can hear me, as long as you can hear me. You know, I became a really more than a friend. I became a sister and an auntie, and want to honor her sons. They become some amazing, strong men, and now we have the next generation with Charlie coming and arriving in October, and want to honor them for their continued work. And they know that her message, she always had a strong message for them, and strong teachings about being good men. And I know that her teachings have come true as well. And thank you, you boys, for always and continuing to honor her, and thank you as well. Somebody else said to thank you for sharing your mom, and for giving us that time with her, because I know that she spent a lot of time away from you too. So now we have this space, and you're here in Saskatoon, and I try to see you when I can, but even more so now that Charlie's here, and her, Trisha's grandson. It's amazing. So thank you, and thank you again, Christina, and Rachel, and the others in the university for allowing this space. She was big on space, right? That was her. We had to have space for us as Indigenous peoples, as Indians, and so this is our space. So thank you for that. Nyawa.
Okay, now thank you so much, Beverly. I'd like to invite Trisha's sons, Justin, Michael, and Jack, to come forward. They'll be speaking about the Kate Monture Memorial Fund, created in memory of their sister, and they'll be joined by Rachel Fiddler, who was also a student of Trisha's. She's now community liaison coordinator at Askiack High School.
Apparently, none of these two are going to speak. Yeah, Mike will. Mike likes to speak. He's kind of like his brother in that way. I guess to start off, honoring the territory, the Treaty 6 people and I guess I'm part of that now too, right? I'm still Ungwe and Haudenosaunee, and that's where my blood is, but my heart's with more than just my people, and as was my mom's. I guess that's one thing. Sorry, my brain's racing. Baby brain doesn't just happen to mothers, it happens to dads too. I guess, some of the greatest teachings I've had through my life have been through my mom and the people that my mom introduced me to through my life. No matter where those teachings were coming from, they were strong. It was, like Bev said, hard growing up with such a respected woman for a mother. We couldn't do nothing without someone knowing who we were and trying to get us out of trouble. And I know my little boy Charlie's going to be the same way. It's one thing I'm honored that the university and the people who have I'm just looking around the room and I'm seeing faces and I want to start waving. The university and the people who were involved in this, I won't start naming names, a bit were there, mentioned already, but there's a lot of people. And I'm honored to be able to share my mom with the world, right? It's through you people who have had contact with my mom that allow her spirit to be here, allow her spirit to always be with me, with my son, my wife, my brothers. Like you said, she invited people into our family and she cared about people. And I know this room's about success, and success to my mom and success to me is more than, what you're driving and where you're living. And it's about the respect people give you. It's about us as First Nations men and women to grow up with each other and share life with each other. And that's success. As I look down at the two-row wampum here, it's kind of calling at me that us as people have to come together, us as people. And that was Mom's dream, right? We talked about KP, both men and women's jails. I remember being a little featherball dancing pals there. There's just a million thoughts, I guess, racing through my mind. That Kmmf Ontario. Do you want to talk about that? Okay. You want? I'll let Rachel do that, and then if Mike or Jack want to say something later, I don't know. My brain's racing. Thank you, guys.
Good morning. I'm Rachel Fiddler. I've been honored to be a board member on the with the Kate Monture Memorial Fund since its inception in 2009 when we lost Kate. It's such an emotional thing, and 5 months pregnant, and so excuse me, but there was the purpose behind forming the Kate Monture Memorial Fund was so that the memory of Kate would be kept alive, and that's been our goal. It's been tough. There's just been too much tragedy, to be honest. But I'm really glad that that Trish brought us together, and we've become family through this, and we'll continue to do the work that we were set out to do. Kate passed away in August of 2009, and I think that month we met at Trish's house. And there's always smudge and there's always food, and I always try to honor Trish, that she did things properly. She always honored our Indigenous heritage, and I'd like to thank everybody. I know there's people in the room here who have supported the Kmmf. We as well as the Samaginus Worm Law Firm have helped us out over the years. There was a while there where it's a registered corporation, and that had lapsed, and we weren't quite sure what to do with it. We had a really good meeting where we said, we have to continue on, and it's about healing for all of us too, and like I said, to keep Kate's memory alive. So there's a little bit of a display over in the other room. If anybody would like to read that, there was 2 objectives to the Kmmf. One was to honor Aboriginal youth that are focused on the arts, and the second was to honor the achievement of Aboriginal youth. And I'd like to announce this year we had a, what do you call that? A recipient. Sorry, and we gave her name is Faith Bossy a scholarship for her dance fees. For $2,500, and she's the daughter of the late Darlene Bossy Muskego. So that was awesome. And I think with that, if anybody wants information about the fund, they can get a hold of any of us. Jack was too young at the time. He was an honorary youth member, but we'll make some arrangements and have him officially as a board of directors. And we also have another in the room here who doesn't want to be recognized, but I appreciate her support and her being here too. And thank you for listening. Anybody else?
I'll go, Jackson. All right, first off, I want to thank you all for this action. Told myself I wouldn't do this. I want to thank you all. It means so much. Gotta compose myself here. The Kmmf fund, it was to keep my sister's memory alive, and so she always wanted to help people. That's something we got from mother. Like, mother's greatest teaching to us is treat people how you want to be treated. Mom always fought for people because people need to be fought for. What I want to do is I want to help people. I want to make people happy, so I'm chasing my dreams to do that. The Kmmf fund and this basically room, it's to help people. Their memories are going to live on. If you wanted to donate to the Kmmf, you'd talk to Rachel Fiddler. But I want to thank you again. It means so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. I'd now like to ask Les Samuelson to come forward and speak. Les was a close friend of Trish and a colleague in the Department of Sociology. Each spring he travels to Trish's and Kate's grave in London, Ontario, to put blueberries on the grave and play a drum song for them.
I gotta be careful. I don't want to kick anybody in the knee. I'll break it. I had a sharp awakening in terms of what life is like sometimes, September 14, 2013, but we'll leave that aside. But the emotion here today and the spirituality that you can just see and read, and I'm very grateful for all of the help over the years that Walter and Maria have given me, and the guidance they've given many, many, many people, and how to pray properly and how to respect each other. And Trish, as we've seen all of this stuff of how strong she was, and she could take on almost anybody. She had a heart too, and she gave that heart as well. And sometimes the people that you could only see her tapping her foot in the conference, the black hair looking at you in the eyes going, I'm waiting till that person's finished and then I'm going to kill him. But, you know, I got to know her family, and I got to know when times were tough, when she might need a little help, and making this something happen, and a few dollars here and there. And I've known these guys since he was getting his first kiss and his first girlfriend. We're not going to go too much into that. No. Well, some things are better off left alone, and Jack was pretty small and Kate was pretty small, and I knew her well, and I'm grateful for the acceptance into her family and for the support she gave everyone. You know, she was a powerful figure, and where does she draw her strength from? This is what that I would try to focus on today. And she drew it and forgive me if I don't get it all correct, or I just got a slice of it that I see, but from her heritage, from the spirituality, and from her people. And at times she struggled with life and advancing and moving towards her goals and objectives, and so her work was powerful. The stuff on lifers, on men, I've had the honor and task of cleaning through a lot of her stuff and making sure that things that shouldn't get out, like she would write comments on everybody on the notes and the margins, and some of it was better off that I just sort of gently slipped to the side, and I had to shred some of her lifers work, because the identifiers for the men were in there, and if something got out, if it came down here, it could make life, if they're still in the joint, very, very difficult for them. So I felt really terrible looking at this is her life's work, but we saved a lot of it. And so her family was important to her, and her colleagues. She fought hard to achieve a place of success at the University of Saskatchewan, a place for Indian people and Indigenous peoples, and a place for her family to grow up and for other people to be treated like family. And that we would all have some hope for the future success, and that we could carry on and give it to others. She looked to the people, particularly in sociology in the later years, where she stated, and this is not just for our sort of, hey, we're great kind of, but she found a home, and she found a place where she was accepted. And that's, I think, was really important to her. And when life was difficult, and she had her hair shaved and whatnot, and she was talking to me, she told me at the back that she had shaved it for a good reason, and then she would let the gray go. And then she would just come up out of the blue and ask me, okay, now, how about you? You went home, you had some issues to deal with in your life, did you do it? I see, yeah, she's smoking, right? I quit smoking. And so, yes, I did. And it's okay. And then when Kate passed, it was really, really, really tough. And I wasn't here at that point in time. I came back later. I'm not sure where she found it, but my guess is she found it in her roots with her family, with her colleagues that supported her. And this center is an absolute true honor. I'm very so grateful. It's taken a little while to come, but not everything at the university moves at light speed. And if it does, it's probably bad. So we're sometimes better off that we're left alone just to go our own way. Anyway, I'm not sure what else to tell you. That I was proud to be her friend. I was proud to be her colleague. And her spirit is here today, and I do every spring. I've got a white truck with a dent in the side because I was at Burger King with my two nephews and didn't see the light standard. Whang. But I didn't have anything to make noise with. And the first time I had my Harley in the back of the truck, that's how I lost the legs in a Harley accident. I got hit head on. But I'm grateful for what I do have. And I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to make a lot of noise? The elders put blueberries down and bring some food. And they didn't say much about drink at first. And then next year I said, don't put something. They get thirsty too. And so I would put drink and spread blueberries down. And so I just revving the Harley. I drove the truck real up to the grave. And I'm trying to sing. I can't sing anything. I can't. So I'm revving this Harley in the back of the truck, and people are going by and I'm doing my best to sing. So I came back, and where's Darlene? She's here somewhere. I told Darlene I did my best to sing a drum song, and she said, don't worry, it'll be okay. So each year in the spring, I have family in Kitchener. So I stop and I go down, and our grave is in a beautiful place. There's a weeping willow tree not far back, and there's a carved stone bench. That's how I find it. I look for the weeping willow tree, I look for the big tree, and I walk in about 10 feet. This time I was there, the graves people gave me permission because of how hard it was on uneven ground to drive my truck over. So I talked to Maria one day, and I said, Young Thunder played at Trish's funeral. And so she knows she's connected, right? So I said, can I get a CD from Young Thunder? And she was on the phone. Yeah, okay, you got to go over. It's just over here, not far past such and such. He'll give you one. So it was actually one of the members. So I got this CD to him. The next year, I'm going with the Young Thunder CD, and I can rev the Harley still. But anyway, I played about 6 songs for her, and I called the elders, and we put my cell phone on speaker, and they said a prayer for it. I don't know if that's really appropriate for me to say that, but I pray for forgiveness. I probably need a lot of it. So anyway, I'm glad that you're laughing because she's here, and then it was really hard for me to look at the stone. Now it's beautiful. I sweep it off, and I put a cigarette to some coffee down. I put Coke for Kate and a donut. But blueberries are all around, and came back 2 days and it was all gone. Cups knocked over, cigarettes got coffee spilled all over it, milk and sugar kicked all over the place. I said, somebody had a good time. And so, on that note, I say thank you, and I'm very grateful to Christina and all of the people that helped make this possible. Thank you.
So we're almost done here. I want to just say a few thank yous. Thank you again to Walter and Maria for your wisdom, your guidance. Thank you to all the speakers. You really shared your hearts with us here today. Thank you. Thank you for everyone who came. There's some people who can't really see, but they're listening, and there's people out in the hall watching on a television screen. So thank you to everyone. And now finally, I'd like to ask Peter Stoichev, the Dean of the College of Arts and Science, to come forward to offer some closing remarks and for the official unveiling and naming of the Trish Monture Center for Student Success.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's wonderful to see everybody here today. Friends of the university, faculty, lots of students, family. I'd like to acknowledge Walter and Marie. Thank you very much for everything that you continue to do for us. Our Chancellor, Blaine Fable, thank you very much for being here and for your meaningful words. I see Senator Lillian Dick here. It's wonderful that you're all here. I know that you have extraordinarily difficult schedules, and it speaks to the importance of this event that you're here, and it speaks to the importance of Trish's memory that you're here as well. And it's wonderful to see all of Trish's family. I'm glad you were able to say a few words. I know it's tough. There were just a few things that I wanted to say. I can't add to everything that's been said about Trish. I have to say that to me she was unfailingly kind and generous and purposeful in everything that she did and in the dealings that we had, and I'm proud that she was here. I can say a few things about the college, though, and I think it's worthwhile for you to know. It's a wonderful responsibility and a privilege to help to lead a college like this and to work with somebody like Christina, who has done so much work and has put together this event in this space. But there also comes with that a real burden of responsibility. And the main thing for us in this college, and I've said it over and over wherever I can publicly in every setting, is that we have to be the right place for Aboriginal students, for Aboriginal communities, for Aboriginal people, for Aboriginal faculty. That is the main thing that we are trying to do. I don't pretend to say that we're anywhere near being successful, but we are getting there. And this kind of ceremony, this kind of event is one step in that direction. Many of you, not all of you, will know that we have lots of Aboriginal students coming to this university. The university's hoping that at least 15% of its student population will be Aboriginal students. We bring in to the college each year about 15% of our students Aboriginal, but only about half of them stay to the end of first year. And so the main thing that Christina and my colleagues have been working on is trying to increase that, what we call retention rate, so that Aboriginal students will see that this is a good place for them, the right place for them, and that they have a future if they stay beyond first year here. That's really, really important for us. It's one step at a time, and that's one of the main steps that we have been working on. We're building, and Trish would love to know this, we're building Aboriginal understandings, ways of knowing, history, politics, as much as we possibly can in a way that's respectful and genuine into all of our curricula, all the time. That's what we are all about here. It's slow, like Les was saying. It's slow, but it's genuine, and it's serious, and it's organized, and it's what we're all about right now. So I wanted you to know that I felt that that I owed it to you to say those things, because that's what I can say. I can't tell you as much about Trish as you already know, except that my dealings with her were always absolutely wonderful. But I did want you to know what the college is trying to do. The last thing maybe I'd say about that is, if that's the university's mission, the university isn't going to get there if this college doesn't get there. It's really got to happen with this college. I mean, it's great if it happens in some of the others, but if it doesn't happen here, the university can't say that it's happening. Can't say that it's happening. It has to happen here. And that's why for us, the things that I've mentioned and many more to do with Aboriginal students, Aboriginal people, Aboriginal communities is the #1 priority. We're not there. We're not anywhere near there, but we're moving in that direction. I just want you to know that. So thanks, Christina. Thanks for organizing this. Thanks to all the speakers. It was wonderful to hear you. And thanks to all of you who are attending. I'm speaking now through the camera to people who aren't here, but are watching on LCD screens all over the university, really, and certainly throughout this college down in 298 that we're moving on to get together in a less formal way and gather over food and have good conversation. So thank you, everybody, for being here. It was my privilege to be speaking. Thanks a lot, Christina, for that. And have a great time with the rest of this event in this wonderful place.
Thank you, Peter. So I've asked Peter, we do have a memorial plaque here that talks about Trish's contributions to the university and does have the 2-row wampum pictured on it. So I'd ask Peter to please.
Come and join me, a representative from the family. And we haven't practiced this, so.
And torn.
Tucked pretty good in there,
Yeah.
so give her a good yay.
Here's Sean and you help me with that. We're just going to pull it off.
Not too hard.
Okay.